Today I'm going to be doing the Synastry chart between Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. I had a request to do their Synastry chart. I've had this actually done for a really long time, but I didn't upload it because there's so much opinions about these two, either really good ones or really bad ones, and I didn't want to be caught in the middle. But I'm going to tell you all of the things that I found in their compatibility chart, and it's all accurate. Her Alma and Actor asteroid conjuncts his midheaven by 2 degrees. Alma is the Spanish word for soul, and Actor, that's self-explanatory, and it's conjuncting his midheaven. So the whole world sees that she's an actress, and there's soul here. His Hypnos, Lust, and Asmodeus conjuncts her sun 1 degree. Hypnos has to do with hypnotic effect. That's the energies. Lust, self-explanatory. And Asmodeus is the asteroid that the energies of that is the demon of lust. So we have a double whammy here, and it's conjuncting her sun 1 degree. The sun and the moon and the angles, very important parts of the Synastry chart, the most important parts. So she's hypnotized by him, and there's lust and a huge physical attraction. But those 3 asteroids also conjuncts her Lysistrata asteroid, and Lysistrata has to do with sexual manipulation. Either she withholds sex or uses it as a bargaining chip, so to speak. But there's lots of physical attraction. His Venus conjuncts her Pluto 4 degrees. That's also indication of a very strong attraction between 2 people. But over time, it can result in possessiveness and obsession and control issues, especially by the Pluto person, which is her in this case. So that would coincide with the Lysistrata asteroid of manipulation in the sex department. Now, his Valentine conjuncts her moon 2 degrees. That's a really nice aspect, especially conjuncting her moon. That's Valentine is love and sacrificial love. But we also have another asteroid conjuncting her moon from him, Astarte, and that has to do with arguments and blow-ups. And her moon is in the 3rd house. So these arguments, I would say, originate from the family and the siblings. The 3rd house rules the siblings. So there's a lot of arguments over that on her side because her moon is in the 3rd house. Now, his Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system, conjuncts her Astarte by 2 degrees. Now, Astarte, like I said, has to do with blow-ups and arguments, and Jupiter, since it's the largest planet in the solar system, magnifies whatever it touches. So her Astarte is in the 6th house, and that has to do with work. So I would say a lot of arguments as well center around work-related issues. Now people say, oh, they don't really work. Well, I mean, I know they've done some charity work, and I think she had a podcast, and I think there's other things that they are involved in related to the work situation. Now, her moon squares his ascendant by 6 degrees. So there's a lot of emotional outbursts in this relationship. And like I said before, her moon is in the 3rd house, which rules siblings. So I see dissension there. Her Chiron and Typhoon conjuncts his moon in the 4th house. The 4th house rules the home and the family. Chiron has to do with pain, and it's conjuncting his moon. So there's emotional pain involved here. I know there's a lot of people that say Chiron is the wounded healer, and More often than not, I've seen it bring pain. Can Chiron heal the other person? I've seen it rarely. So on that note, Chiron conjuncting his moon, emotional pain, and typhoon is self-explanatory. That brings overwhelming psychological effects, and not in a good way. It's very overwhelming and just disturbing. His typhoon conjuncts her point of fortune, 2 degrees. His typhoon is in the 4th house that rules the home and the family. The point of fortune is like a mini Jupiter. It magnifies whatever it touches. So now we have this huge typhoon of overwhelming psychological events, and I see it centered around the dissension between him and his family and siblings, her siblings as well as his. Now, his Pluto in Scorpio, which is domicile, that means that's where the strongest energy lies, and it squares her Mercury 5 degrees. There's battles in communication here. Mercury has to do with communication, and since it's a square, the energies don't flow freely. There's a restriction, and so the battleground of communication and control issues as well, because his Pluto is involved. Now, his Uranus conjuncts her vertex 1 degree. The vertex is another really important point in the synastry chart. Whatever conjuncts your vertex from the other person, you will receive those energies. And in this case, his Uranus, that brings instability, sudden upheavals, and unpredictability in the relationship. And he really shook up her world. Her Lucifer, Asbaloo, Lovus, and Nymph conjuncts his vertex in the 7th house by 2 degrees. Lucifer has to do with having a chip on your shoulder, being arrogant and having a lot of pride. Asbaloo has to do with mysteries, hidden secrets and agendas. Lovus has to do with passion. And Nymph, well, that's self-explanatory. I don't have to get into what that means. I'm sure you already know. His Nymph conjuncts his descendant natally. Whatever conjuncts your descendant in your natal chart, that's what you will look for in another partner. And so in this case, he's looking for a nymph. His angel and Semper asteroid conjuncts her Venus 1 degree. This is really nice. Angel has to do with a best friends aspect, and Semper is loyalty and devotion. He'll always be there for her. His Jupiter conjuncts her Semper by 3 degrees. So I've explained before that Jupiter magnifies whatever it touches because it's the largest planet in the solar system. So she is devoted to him and is loyal as well. So I don't see them getting a divorce anytime soon. There's so many people that say, oh, it's never going to last. Sooner or later, things will happen. Well, yes, there's a lot of conflicts in this relationship regarding the home and the family and the siblings, but I don't see that. I don't see them breaking up. Now, her Taureau conjuncts his Venus 1 degree. Taureau has to do with being bossy, and I'm putting it nicely. So that's what he gets from her, and that's at 1 degree. So that's pretty tight. His Grimm and Dolores in the 7th house conjuncts her ascendant by 0 degrees. That is the strongest orb. You can't get tighter than that. So these energies are represent, Grimm is the fairy tale, and Dolores has to do with pain and suffering. and it's conjuncting her ascendant, which is a very important angle in a synastry chart. Grimm, he brought her the fairy tale. She married the prince. But on the flip side of that fairy tale, there's pain and suffering involved. So not all fairy tales are what you think they exist as. There's always a flip side to the coin in every situation. So she got the fairy tale, but there's, like I said, pain and suffering involved here. Now, her Mars and Iphigenia conjuncts his descendant by 0 degrees. Her Mars is in Cancer in the 12th house, so has passive aggressive tendencies towards him since it's conjuncting his descendant. Iphigenia has to do with subservience, obedience, and victimhood. So that's what she brings to the relationship as well. Her Mars is also conjuncting his nymph by 1 degree. So this to me translates into a passive aggressive behavior towards the sexual situation, which would tie into the Lysistrata asteroid that I explained before. So it's all tying in together. The more you get into the synastry chart, it's like putting pieces of a puzzle together and the picture forms. Now his geisha conjuncts her descendant, 0 degrees. Geisha is self-explanatory. I think that he waits on her hand and foot. I don't know if he fans her and feeds her grapes, but he's there for her, and I think she wears the pants in this family, honestly. Her Jupiter in the 3rd house, again, which has to do with siblings, one of the things that the 3rd house rules, it conjuncts his Dejanira, 3 degrees. And Dejanira is a victim asteroid. Now, her Jupiter conjuncting his Dejanira, he became more of a victim in the dissension involved with with William and the other people in his family, unfortunately. And this actually became more prominent after they got married. Now, I'm not saying it's her fault. I'm just saying what the synastry chart is showing me. And her Jupiter, also in the 3rd house, squares his ascendant. So she's pushy about this. Now let's get to the North Node. The North Node is the one of the most important parts of the synastry chart as well. It represents what the theme of the relationship will be between two people. His Deprez, Eternatus, and Bacchus in the 7th house conjuncts her North Node by 2 degrees in the 3rd house. Deprez is an asteroid that has to do with depression. Eternatus has to do with eternity, and Bacchus has to do with overindulgence, excessive situations, and parties as well. So parties, not like a backyard barbecue party, people, and more like a huge extravaganza with, fireworks and wine and all kinds of over-the-top situations. So that's the theme of the relationship for her. His depression, eternity. Like I said, I don't think they're getting a divorce, and overindulgence and parties. Her Sphinx, Niobe, and Dionysus conjuncts his North Node by 1 degree in the 4th house that rules the home and the family. So for him, the theme of the relationship is hidden secrets, the loss of family members. That's what Niobe represents. So there was a lot of loss for him in his family. And Dionysus, that has to do with parties as well, and wine, and like huge parties, alcohol, wine. So that's also the theme of the relationship for her. him, I'm sorry. Maybe they'll get involved in a vineyard. Dionysus has to do with wine. Now, her Nessus and Pollux conjuncts her ascendant natally. Nessus and Pollux, that's a classic sign. That pairing is classic for narcissists, since it conjuncts her ascendant. I just thought that I would throw that out there. The charts don't lie, and I'm not making this up. Her narcissist opposes his sun, so there's this back and forth energy of her. It's all about her, and she wants what she wants, and he delivers. So, like I said, I do think that she wears the pants in this family, this relationship. Now, on the planetary aspects, I've discussed a few of them, but the most important part is the moon and the moon between two people. If you don't have positive moon-moon aspects between you, there's not a really heart-to-heart, soul-to-soul connection. And they don't have any. Zero. They don't even have any acceptable backups that could possibly override the lack of a moon-moon connection. To me, their relationship is really centered around a lot of physical attraction, and the lust is there, and the physical attraction as well. I mean, it's powerful, but without a soul-to-soul connection, there's not a lot of guarantee of that deep emotional happiness. Marriages that last a really long time without positive soul-to-soul, heart-to-heart connections, it really doesn't end up being happy. There, I said it. So, on that note, I just want to say that I will be back again soon with other Synastry charts. I hope you enjoyed this interpretation, and I will see you